Vex, you will finally be able to use one of your wishes. You'll be able to finally use your wish.
That is also possible.
No.
How dare you, Alex, call me a fart? I emptied um every possible cranny of gas earlier already. Doop doo doop doo doo. Why is YouTube not loading? Okay, now it is. There we go. I am a Brentologist and Entereriano.
Screen the goo. It's because the person to do a good amount of size chart, Emmy wouldn't be available this weekend.
Yeah, and she wants to be there for that.
Yeah. That's all.
And we respect her wishes in that regard. Also, the size chart is not completely finished yet, so.
To be fair, that is specifically because it's not happening this week.
That is true.
It would be pretty much done otherwise.
Yeah, there isn't that much more left to do.
Yeah. Raven is wanting up, by the way.
Ooh. There we go. Hello. Okay, let's have a look over on our beautiful bowl. Okay. Bloop. Brush. I think first place still goes to Tapijora.
I haven't drawn one of those in a
Yeah,
minute.
I thought we had done it on a vlogging.
No.
But I have done 3 Tapijaras on stream so far, but not on the vlogging. Fun fact: Tapijara was the first thing I ever did on a stream.
Yeah.
Next up, we have 33 here. I think there's nothing in between. And that is a monkey. That's a Ashkaceratops.
Oh wait, yeah, that's Ashka.
Yeah.
The next, I believe, is Hoplitomeryx. Unless something changed. Oh wait, no, it's Protoceratops.
Another Ceratops.
I mean, both are about the same.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
Wait. Where is?
It's right next to. Hoplitomeryx is 28, and then Protoceratops is the monkeys next to the where you squared off Tapihara.
Oh, you mean in like in that row? Yeah. In that order. Yeah. Hoplitomeryx 3 and Protoceratops there. Blip. Doing this with my mouse because I'm lazy. Hello, people on Twitch who joined. Okay. It appears we start with a nice little easy pterosaur. Easy for people who know pterosaurs. but it's not as crazy as some other species. So this should be fine. Tapejara. Let's collect some references. There is, fortunately, many we can work with. Among other things, there is a skeletal drawing by Sassy.
Don't at Sassy, he will probably hate it.
Yeah, it's an older one, but I think it still holds up.
Would it be worth grabbing Tupendactylus sort of stuff to show like how that wraps around the bone?
I mean, we don't know if it did in Tapejara like this.
True.
That's the thing. We actually have a skeletal with like stretched out wings as well. Skeletal mount razor. Gives you an idea for how the wingspan looked like. They were rather stout, rather short wings compared to some other pterosaurs, especially when you look at all the Anhanguerids that were living around the same time. Anything else? Nope. That's quite a few specimens at this point. And actually, this is a quite nice skeletal mound as well. Let's see if there's something specific on the skull we can use.
I forget. Would this guy be more omnivorous? Does it follow the Tupendactylus stuff, or is it?
We don't know. Really? We have, to my knowledge, no direct evidence for its diet. If the stuff from China is anything to go by, these might be more on the herbivore side even, potentially. Oh, new paper. What came out? Somebody accidentally posted a non-paper thing.
I think that's not the first time that person has done it either.
Yeah. People really should read clearly the guidelines for the channel. Anyway,
oh shoot! I didn't even I saw the fish paper, but I didn't even think of it. Peltoplorid survived into the Jurassic. Yippee!
Love to see it. Let me see, anything else that is of note? I think this, yeah, they made the dorsal series too long on the schedule. Yeah, no, there are a little bit more basal tapejarids from China that preserve direct evidence for frugivory, eating fruits. Which is pretty cool. Other than that, probably omnivorous. The beak is an kind of all-purpose kind of thing. There isn't some big specialization really going on. Nothing that screams at you at least, oh yeah, this is what they eat. Like, this does not look like a beak that is particularly good at, like, processing meat, not particularly good at processing plants, not particularly good at processing shellfish or stuff like that. So yeah. We should also say that we don't have an Rhamphotheca for this one here. So maybe there was a little bit more going on. We know that at least in Tupandactylus, the Rhamphotheca adds a little bit more. to the wool thing. So it is, for example, possible that the skull here, that the Ramphasika together with the crest actually smoothed out this dip here, this cavity between the crest and the beak. That was more one line. It's also possible that that there was more keratin here on the lower side. And that the gap that you see with closed mouth, that was actually not there when there was a Ramphasika present. So that's this little dip here that was filled in with keratin from the outside, at least. That is possible. However, we don't know. Interesting with Tapejarids is that they have very long limbs, as it is usually the case for Atsdarchoids. So that's a group that includes Tapejarids, Atsdarchids, Xiaoyangopterids, and stuff like Alanka, which potentially falls into its own clade. But the feet actually, especially in Tupandactylus, you see that, have some interesting stuff going on. They look overall like that of a terrestrial animal, but the claws are rather large and very hooked, and even you and quite large, especially when you take into account the keratin sheet again, which we have preserved in a Tupandactylus specimen. And there was a recent paper that too showed that this is potentially something related to kind of climbing abilities. So these guys were probably not super arboreal because the front limbs don't look like that at all. That looks more like something for terrestrial locomotion. But maybe they were better at holding onto branches or rocks and stuff than we would assume. So maybe they just sometimes ventured into up a tree to like reach especially good feeding spots or stuff like that, but not like stayed there for long. So that is a possibility. It's also totally possible that they actually did some crazy stuff that we have no idea that they did, because the animals are at the end of the day super light built and didn't even need that much strength to maneuver around up there. So, and we know from modern day animals, of course, like No Hawks, the German Tabejaris article is in a really sad state, as are many German Wikipedia pages. But yeah, there is lots to speculate here when it comes to the life of these guys. Did these critters have crests as babies? Captain Trulalu asked. Probably not. We know this not from Tabejara, but again from a Chinese relative where we have basically the full ontogenetic sequence. Let me quickly get that. Tabejara ontogeny. Let's see if this comes up. Yes. Because we have an animal called Nemicolopterus that is most likely the baby of Huaxipterus or Sinopterus, depending on who you asked. Somebody already posted it. Here you have the ontogenetic series as it was proposed by Naish and Witten. And a few other people. Since that paper came out, there was a little bit more into that. As usual, it turns out a little bit more complicated than you think. I think Huaxipterus is no longer a thing. Instead, we have Huaxia Draco and Sinopterus. It's a little bit of fuckery afoot. Yeah, exactly. And it's but yeah, most importantly, as you can see, the crests develop over time. Probably mostly like in the later half of their ontogeny. They don't pop in at the very end of the ontogeny, but they are not born with them. Okay. I think we have all the references we need. Should maybe mention where these guys come from. Tapejara is known from Brazil. And I forgot a little bit what formation it was exactly. Was it Santana? Was it Santana?
Probably it's probably Santana Group.
It's Santana Group, but I'm since they split it, it's a little bit. Blah. God, it only says Santana Group on the Wikipedia. It's not Credo because we did Credo extensively, and Tapejara is not part of that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's Romualdo. Romualdo is more like your place to be when you are in Anangueret. Oh no, we have Tapejara from here too. Okay, it is Romualdo. Okay, I'm wrong. Yeah, Romualdo is a little bit more diverse with Ananguerets, Ornithocheirets in general. Okay. But yeah, Romualdo, what can you say?
Wetland.
Wetland, similar to Creto in a way, like, yeah, wetland, relatively close to the coast, probably. Quite diverse overall in its pterosaur fauna. Except pterosaurs from here are like the most notable thing. There's of course dinosaurs too, specifically theropods are known among them. Most bestest known is probably Irritator. And we have the always ubiquitous Araripesuchus from here. Yeah. Oh, it does say Enterion. Don't point this out. It's like casual soap march. Can we get some Tapejarid feather refs? You can. Also, it will not help you much because from afar you will not tell the difference.
Depending on how you render it out, you could get some difference between.
If you how close you get. Yeah. There are.
Because you have
we know of two different types of quote unquote feathers from Tapejarids. On the one hand, you have these very simple filaments, and on the other hand, you have more bushy, downy thingies going on the back of the crest, interestingly. Also, it appears, based on several specimens now, that for at least for Tupandactylus, the soft tissue crest was not just a round shape, but actually had like a divot in there. On the other hand, the other species of Tupandactylus navigans, usually people, when they say Tupandactylus, they talk about Imperator, but navigans shows a very different crest shape, and there it is just round, basically filling in the shape of the crest. What you want to take away from this for Tapejara is totally up to you. Yeah, no Hawks. I wouldn't go with rock dwelling. Walking with Dinosaurs back in the day went very loosey goosey with that. These animals were certainly not found in a directly coastal environment. Certainly
Yeah,
not
but
a
it's
habitat that has cliffs.
yeah,
Because cliff
a-
environments usually don't have much of fossil preservation going on.
yeah, it's a decent sized flighted animal. It's gonna have a pretty big range.
It will have a pretty big range, so you can at the end of the day you can put it in various habitats. Just so you know that the rocky outcrops you see there are pretty, but it's not what the animal was associated with. Also important to know what you see in Walking with Dinosaurs is actually two Pandactylus navigans. Back then, two Pandactylus and Tapejara were the same. Back then it was Tapejara navigans. And then two Pandactylus was split from that and again split into Imperator and navigans. So, yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if in the future more investigation shows that navigans is actually its own genus. But we aren't there yet.
Is there anything else we want to say? Because it's probably the longest one that we're gonna spend any time on.
I think we're good. What does it take for the
Petite is?
beat eating? Okay, setting up the timer. Okay. Let us start with Tapejara, one of the most iconic pterosaurs out there. In 1, 2, 3, go.
I'm probably gonna do like more rough stuff this time around because I haven't drawn in the last few days.
I have to warm up again. Oh, interesting to
Okay,
note
sure.
also with the skeletal drawing by Sassy here, he shows that the wing finger is very straight, and that is true. Most Darkoids have very straight wing fingers, and they wouldn't like bend much at all because there isn't much mobility there in the phalanx, actually. Especially if on the ground and not under tension. Oh, by the way, I should mention that based at least on, we don't have a tail for Tapejara itself, but we have a tail actually for Tupandactylus navigans. It is so small that it might have been invisible in real life because it looks like it's shrinking between the back halves of the pelvis.
You're perpetuating the butt cheeks.
Yes. As darkets will rise, cannot prevent it. Only prolong the inevitable.
We don't know of any trees from this area, do we?
Oh, unfortunately, we know too many.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, I mean, anything that's from here is probably also gonna be at Credo.
Yeah.
You could probably look at Credo stuff.
Let me
Like we know
post
stuff from both. I'm like
a
90%
little.
sure.
Let me post a little bit here. What Jules put together. This is mostly conifers. But there's also angiosperms and stuff. There's also many aquatic plants from here.
Angiosperm.
Yeah. Quite a few
'Cause
flowering
that's
plants.
That's what most early angiosperms
Yeah.
were in the fossil record.
I think we also had some ginkgos, but I can't find it right now. Yeah, mostly conifers, the larger trees at least.
And to be honest, like looking at Tupandactylus's like the shape of the soft tissue around the skull, like especially at the base, I don't know how much sense it makes, like the usual Tapihara crest shape that people give it.
Yeah, but then again,
Like
looking at navigans, it's like I'm not sure if you can judge anything based on the osteology, really.
I guess. I'm saying like the soft tissue itself aligns pretty closely to the skull, and there's not really anything further than like where the bone ends. At least the anterior edge of the crest, like it like goes up a little bit further after that, like in a curve, but that's the sort of stuff I mean.
Yeah, but you would also not expect that, like in Tupandactylus, you would have this stuff in front of the beak, so on. Just looking at the skull, so
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, it's a pterosaur, so it's going to be.
Exactly.
What's time looking like?
13 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
If I drop out, it's because the wind is picking up and I have lost power.
Oh boy.
shoot. Hopefully that doesn't happen. You're able to stay safe.
Safe. It's just annoying.
Is it frequently happening?
Yeah, I've got you would think in an area that gets 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts on the regular, they would do underground utilities, but they don't.
Yeah, you would think indeed.
So funky how far back the nasal opening is for these guys.
Yeah. Then again, that's relatively typical for a pterosaur to have the nasals relatively far back and a long rostrum.
Yeah.
And then again, if modern animals are anything to go by, the nares, the nasal opening would be right at the tip of that fenestra.
Yeah, that's still pretty far back.
Yeah. I mean, look at
I mean-
birds. They don't have it much different usually, except for kiwis, because kiwis are just built different.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, generally, not ploving birds. What is it called? Probing.
Yeah.
Probing birds could get funky.
Four or five toes on the back foot.
4. Technically 5, but the 5th one is like reduced to like a little splint.
Many such cases in Archosaurs.
Yeah. One of Archosaur's favorites.
Yeah, toe reduction,
Yippee!
100%.
First reduce the toes, then do funky stuff with the rest.
If you're not reducing the amount of toes, you're at least losing the nails or the claws on some of the digits.
Okay, 9 minutes. Oh boy. It's getting close. Need to add some foliage. 6 minutes, 50 seconds. Four minutes.
What do you say?
4 minutes. We're getting there.
Oh, what a creature. Just looked back at your stream.
I like yellow. What can I say? 1 minute.
Well, it's sketchy, but it's something.
That's about how I feel about mine too. That's not the head.
I'm also learning a new program, and it's not very
Ooh.
friendly sometimes.
What are you doing?
Oh, I decided to bite the bullet and upgrade my version of Affinity to the newest one. I don't think I should have bothered. I think I can just go back to the other one.
Oh, 40 seconds. Not just the other day on another artist stream, came the like once again the discussion on like, oh, what tools to use, blah 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 blah, and he just said, you know, I know these professional guys that were hired by the biggest companies and stuff like that, and when they started working, they got this dinky already used bamboo tablet or something like that, and now they have the big paycheck and they get the big pro equipment, and after a few weeks they all went back to their dinky little tablets because that's what they used to, what they are used to. It's not the two that makes art after all. But with that, it's time to post. Show me a little boys. Oh.
I realized I ended up doing a crest shape closer to like the crest that they gave Tapihara before the two-pin dactylus crests got described.
Yeah. Because so many people pointed it out. Yes, I will post also the Hippidion now. No, Gaps is here. Nice.
Blocking, there it is.
Ooh, Sorbs is late. Well, Tabajara was just the first one. There are still 3 more creatures to go. What was the second? Ah. Yes. I'm surprised that not Ashkaceratops and Pharanceratops got in.
I mean, I'm sort of happy about that because the other one is a little hot garbage.
No, I wouldn't say that, honestly. That's much worse.
I think we need a paper actually looking at the bone bed before we can figure out what is actually...
They absolutely should. And I would have preferred if they did that before the Nature paper. But here we are.
Mr. Beast is a Mormon donor. Dum 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 dum.
What?
What? What?
Somebody posts. Hang on, I'll put it in another chat. But somebody posted a link to Mr. Beast decided to join up with the LDS Church. So, hang on a second.
What? Ah,
X, it is fine. You are going to
such a
grow
young
old,
man,
and people are
still
gonna
such
view
dead
you that way.
eyes.
He's
Nothing I've ever watched of Mr. Beast excited me to the in the slightest. It's like, why? People who are excited for his stuff honestly concern me. Okay. Let's have a look what people posted. Chat expansion. Start with Vex here, who did a little grey guy with red accents on the crest. Noise. I think the crest shape isn't not crest shape. The skull shape is not quite there yet. I think the rostrum is a little bit too long, I would say. Let me zoom in here on the skull for comparison. I see the eye should be a little bit further back. Like pterosaurs, especially more derived ones, oftentimes don't have much space like behind the eyes. So a little further back. I know because of the crest and stuff like that, and the placement of the neck, it's like slightly corrected for, basically, but still. But no, otherwise looks pretty good, proportions wise and stuff. Head could have been maybe slightly larger. Keep in mind the skull is a little bit longer than the torso. But yeah. Next, Pacific Mastodon. Who are you? Oh, Sora. I see. Couldn't color as my nose began to bleed. Oh no!
Oh no.
I hope you are better now. Dry air. Yeah, I had that too when I was ill. Sometimes the snot came out bloody. Beautiful stuff. And a very nice Tapejara here. I like the long filaments on the back of the crest. That is something very fun to play with. Something I can very much see Tapejarets doing. I mean, there was this recent paper also that was like, oh, look at this plant material here that might have been also a beard if it is not plant material. And I'm actually, doesn't really matter if it is plant material or not, because I'm very certain at some point, somewhere, some Tapejarets had beards. Like it's already there in the osteology. They already have the beard crest. And we have the backside of the crest in two pentacles being feathery, so why not? But yeah, carrying on. Avian 709 with this beautiful little boy. I love the pattern. Very, very cool. Nicely done. I think the lower jaw could be a little bit deeper. I think, and a little bit more tapered down. But not by much. No, otherwise really nice. Good stuff. Then, there is Raven with this beautiful little guy. I love the neon green bill here. That is a really cool idea. I think the nostrils would need to be a little bit further back, just slightly. But yeah, no, otherwise this looks pretty good, I would say. Which just likes this crest shape. It's a cool idea. A Roadrunner from Hell with a little Tapejara going up a tree looking for fruits or cones or something in that direction. Maybe just overgrown keratin. Yeah, it looks a little bit overgrown, I would say. A little bit. Also, keep in mind the crest on the lower jaw would probably be more visible unless you want to cover it up with soft tissue somehow, but then that would be probably stuff like either like a skin flap or more feathers, and in your case it looks a little bit more like keratin here. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Screens Goo with this funky guy. I would also say to you the lower jaw I think would be a little bit deeper and a little bit more tapered down, like around here you would have a little kink and then it would go down. Otherwise this looks pretty good, I would say. Rostrum might be a little bit long, like looking back and forth between your work and the skeletal. So like having the crest starting a little bit earlier, or like squishing in the snoot a little bit. But yeah, nicely done. Then name was taken with this funky fella with a big bright crest. Nice. I think the skull is a little bit too elongated, a little bit too much like it goes more into the direction of what we see in the Chinese relatives with a rather long, low skull. The South American boys usually have a rather tall skull in comparison. But yeah, and the little kink in the snout here would be, in this case actually, a little bit further back, like around here maybe, roughly. But also nice here with the eye size. That's something we forgot to mention. These guys probably had rather small eyes, based on specimens with sclerotic rings we have of Atstarchoids. Probably not nocturnal at all. So yeah. Okay, gaps. Next here is has this fantastic interpretation. For us, I love the water here going spittering around because of the takeoff, I would guess. Very cool. Love the crest shape here and the experimenting with the filaments. Also that you can see partially through the membrane. Something I will mention maybe is that also I'm not quite sure. In pterosaurs, in derived pterosaurs in flight at least, the palms would be forward. But it's a little bit hard to tell because of the shadows here, if they are more forward or more downward. That's for you to decide at the end of the day. But yeah. Then Dino Boy joined within the last minute. Well, just a little gesture drawing then, but I think that looks funny nonetheless. I quite like this hairdryer swept hairdo you gave it. Very cool. Good stuff. And then, rodent. Experimenting with soft tissue and color here. Very cool. I love the eye spot. And the soft tissue here on the nasals and stuff. That gives me Louis Ray vibes. Very cool indeed. Then Rat, hello. Never drawn a pterosaur before. Well, there's a first time for everything. Let's see. I think overall doesn't look bad for your first pterosaur. Wings looks a little bit short in terms of like how long the arm is, but without an underlying osteology, at least slightly visible. It's a little bit hard to tell. Neck length looks about right. Again, the jaw, as in a few other people here, should be deeper. And the angle between like beak and crest is a little bit more extreme. Like the wool thing would go a little bit more forward here. Not at a right angle necessarily, but approaching it. Which overall then changes the crest shape a little bit. The eye is actually in this case a little bit too far back, I would say, nearly. And yeah, the jaw's missing a little bit the downward curve or kink here that you see in the upper jaw, but especially in the lower jaw, quite a bit. But no, otherwise for your first Pterosaur, that is a pretty good start. Then we have Hussein trying a little bit animation here, flying animation. Let's have a look. Whee! No, fuck! Tapejara hits the twin conifers. God damn it. Anyway, next we have Captain Trululu, as a baby Tapejara, being about to be eaten by Cameloplurus. Nice. A rarely seen fish these days. Very cool. Very common from this couple of formations. Very very happily being sold on the fossil black market. There's like warehouses full of these guys.
I will say that it looks more like the ichthyodectiform from
It looks a little bit more like an ichthyodectiform, yeah.
That much.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much upturned. Per perspective is also hard from this angle. Nicely here with it's of course a baby Tapejara, and you see you looked at Nimicolapterus and stuff. Good stuff. And we have Dragon Girl 27. I love the coloration here. The maroon chest and then the whites and the cool grays and stuff very nicely works together. The rostrum here, as in a few other people, is a little bit too long. Could be a little bit shorter, like cut down by like 20% nearly. I would say these guys have like in comparison to other pterosaurs really short snoots. Even with like a Ramphasika on top on that, that would probably look shorter. But yeah, no, good stuff. Oh, and here important in the wing, you have the humerus and the forearm, but then you basically have directly the fingers in your case here. What they did instead is, and let me show this again here on the skeletal. You see like upper arm, humerus, forearm, and here is basically your carpals, the root of your hand, and these long bones here are your metacarpals, your middle hand bones, or equivalent to that, and they stretch out a lot, like they make up quite a bit of the length of the wing, and then you have your fingers separate from that. Something to keep in mind, basically like until here in Tapejara, that would still be hand. They do be funky like that. Similar, and something similar I see here with TS Forever. The wing looks a little bit short in the arm department, although the length of the wing finger looks pretty good. Really like the crest shape and coloration here, and I very much appreciate the goat-like beard you gave it. Mwah. Excellent. Then Iggy, with this funny guy here flying by very quickly by the looks of it. Very nice. Lovely done. Let's zoom in a little bit further. Yeah, that looks about right. Not that much details, a little bit hard to tell. And Cera with this slightly glowing one. Very nice. I think I would have given a little bit more soft tissue here on the neck. This looks slightly shrink wrapped when you consider like these guys would need to be very streamlined to fly, because like their osteology is so unwieldy, so they would probably need to like streamline down especially to be good flyers. That's why I usually put like a lot of floof on the neck, for example, but also just in terms of like neck muscles and stuff like that. The neck would be probably, you gave it a slight S curve, and that's something we usually don't see in pterosaurs. Weirdly enough, like many archosaurs have S-curved like necks. Pterosaurs for some reason never did that. So also something you sometimes see with like pterosaurs like pecking at things like birds, like retracting their head and then like shooting forward. That's actually something they weren't able to do, as far as we know, because they don't have the cervical mobility for that, or the cervical like articulation in general. It's weird. It's another thing where the pterosaurs and birds are just quite a bit different fundamentally. Okay, Mr. Blue Shark here with his appropriately blue crested one. Nice. Once again, I would say the rostrum is probably a little bit too long, I would say, and the eye would be a little bit further back, and a little bit more of a bend in the rostrum as well, a little bit more downward turned. But yeah, no, otherwise pretty nice. I also like the spots here on the neck. That's good stuff. Ooh, Lolpie. Lolpie experimenting with very interesting here. I love this, honestly. That's some cool shit. 10 out of 10. Yes, it's directly like copied from an eider duck in terms of coloration and so on, but like just the idea, excellent. I love this. Nicely done. Then we have elephant shoe. Is that you, Alex? It is Alex. Alex here with coming in with an Tapejara, going after a small pterosaur, a Chalazodromine. Interesting. Not sure if they would do that, considering the Tapejara itself isn't that big. But maybe if it's this very small juvenile, I don't know how small Chalazodromine eggs were, so who can tell? I think here the rostrum again could be a little bit shorter, just slightly. Also maybe might be perspective, or maybe it's just because the crest on the lower jaw is a little bit further, too much forward. If you put it in just slightly more into the back, maybe then it works better. But no, looks very nice. Vexosaurus, damn, coming in with a little sculpture here. Loves this. That looks very fire. And again, with a lovely little beard on the lower crest. I approve. Silk with colors based on a golden pheasant. That is excellent idea. I think the head overall this looks pretty good. Only thing that I would maybe change a little bit is back here the membrane. Have it up, go up a little bit further. Like don't connect it to the rest of the wing here so early. Like the wing membrane is coming on the back here, down here. So like, how does it connect to this basically? It would probably not like fold this much to like, or droops this much to hang down here. Would be a little bit further up. And I would make the neck a little bit shorter and the head a little bit larger. Keep in mind, the head is, when you compare the length of the skull to the torso, that thing is quite a bit longer actually than the torso. So yeah, something to consider. JW, I see you put in what you talked about with smaller than usual crest. Interesting. I very much like the colors here. Nice stuff. And then tapping Snurtle with a pair of them, a little bit too much to do it in 20 minutes, I see. I hope you still figure that out after stream. Looks pretty good, I would say. Loves the floof on the head and crest. Nice stuff. And then, Chuka Power. Hello, long time no see. Coming in with some experimental soft tissue here on the crest. Very cool. Is also something we hadn't talked about. Like, Tupandactylus shows us that the soft tissue shape of the crest might have been more diverse than we anticipate. So yeah, very cool. Love the red and the green complementary contrast here. Yeah. Then we Svein with a little Tapejara in the shoreline here. Nice. I think the wing finger is a little bit too long. When you look at Tapejara on the ground, when it folds its wings, only like 10-15% of the wing would probably like reach over the shoulder, really, when it stands on, maybe up to 20%. In your case, it looks more like nearly half the wing that would look poke over the shoulders. Something to keep in mind. And something I mentioned now a few times, the rostrum looks a little bit too long. Like I would cut it down by like 20%. I would say. In the moment, it gives also a little bit Thalassodromus vibes. Like some species of Thalassodromines have something similar going on. Or let me actually check. Another animal from Romualdo, Carrie Draco. Carrie Draco is I think, is it in basal? Yeah, it's a Thalassodromid that is razor short. Has a razor short rostrum, and that's therefore looks like this. Roughly, based on the material we have. So, yeah. That's why I oftentimes mention the length of the rostrum, because it's so typical for Tapejarids. Okay, Deroxvan, hello there, with a little portrait of Tapejara in a tree. Very cool. Loves the pathology on the crest. Nice. Then Velociraptor, also going with a more stout crest, I see. Nice. Head could be a little bit larger, and remember the dip in the rostrum. Dip in the rostrum going down. Very important. Dip in the rostrum is indeed present in this one by Octoless. Nicely done, love all the floof here. Very cool. And Roman has one sitting in the tree. I love the colors. The blue and with the little yellow accents is excellent. Nicely done. Then Casual Soap Muncher. There's one strutting over the ground. Yep, that looks nice. I think the neck could be a little bit longer, but otherwise this looks very good in terms of proportions. And then Enteriano with this pair snuggling in something. I hope it's not a nest, because these guys would probably not build nests like birds. I very much appreciate the ass cheeks. Excellent indeed. Bornolo said kill and just straight up murdered this guy. God damn. Looks fabulous here, though, even in death. Very nice. And there's Brontos here with little fucker just ploinking forward, apparently. As a weird cheek singer based on the New Zealand goose eyes. Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. I could see it. And wattled cranes for the crest. Yeah. Very good. Little rough, maybe. And I think you made the metacarpals actually a little bit too long in this case. Small edit shrunk the eye a bit. Yeah, that works better indeed. Sorry, and ooh, is that some ink I see here? Nice, some ink wash. Good stuff. I think the rostrum could be a little bit more downturned, but otherwise this looks very nice indeed. Aberrantologist then with Le Pigeon. What a beautiful little fella. Good stuff. Frantic attempt to fix the wing length. You can still go like down by quite a bit. Fix lower jaw. Yeah, that looks better, Roadrunner. And Ultra Loser lastly with this guy. Ooh, improved perspective. What did you do? Oh, yeah, that looks better actually. That makes the head look a little bit larger. Nice. very nice indeed. I think the palms are a little bit, again, like look more like they're facing downward. Keeping in mind they would be more facing forward. But yeah, no, this looks very cool. Loves the pattern on the crest and stuff. Nicely done. Okay. Next on our list is another beaky fella with less of a crest potentially, although we can't be for certain. And that's Ashkaceratops. Or Oikaceratops, I think someone said. It should be pronounced, but we all know what is meant, and that is enough. For me. Thankfully we have quite nice skull material at this point. And it's a small fella. So,
Yeah.
what do you think, guys? How much of a rundown people need for this guy?
That's a good question.
Good question indeed. Road from Hell, I would get rid of the first skeletal drawing there. That is very old. Probably does not reflect how it looked. But yeah, this is a holotype. What Road from Us already posted. Let me just delete myself. Oh, he was quicker. We have the rostrum, lower beak and upper beak. And yeah, this for the longest time was it. Few more rostral fragments came to light in recent years, but for the most part, yeah, that's Ashkaceratops, which was proposed to be the first real ceratopsian from Europe. For the longest time, we did not have any. Then, some years after the publication of this specimen, more doubt came to light about the taxonomic placement, phylogenetic placement of this guy. Like earlier papers approached this guy and were like, oh, this looks kind of like Bagaceratops from Mongolia. Later studies found that, okay, these people say this is a ceratopsian, but we don't see actually a rostral bone here. And the rostral bone is an extra bone at the front of the snout in ceratopsians that is unique to ceratopsians. So yeah, like it's one of the ceratopsian features. So there was a little bit of back and forth. A recent paper looked at this material again. Also did some really nice scans of the material and also published one or two more fragments. But it's all like the same, roughly the same material. It doesn't really add much to it. What is interesting about it is the rostrum looks very ceratopsian-like. Yes, it's very curved, but it's also really unlike any other ceratopsians in that it's the tip of these beaks is round. Like, you wouldn't call a ceratopsian beak necessarily shovel-shaped, but it's usually not this pincer-like. And it's also very long, and the upper beak has this markable divot really in there. Is it? Oh, the Zeph posting here something still. Nice little Tabijara. A little bit late though, very much on the late side. And yeah, where the lower beak here would nicely slot into. But this paper again was like, okay, the fusion here of the bones is so high we can't really tell if there would be a rostral bone or not. So they decided to keep that question open. Now the newest paper that most people here will be aware of, but I'm recapping anyway, is that Maitland and co-authors in a recent Nature paper looked at all this material again, and in light of a new skull that they describe here, they figure out, wait, Ashkaceratops and another animal that we already knew from this formation called Moklodon are actually the same. There's overlapping material that shows that both animals are most likely the same genus or species even. And that is pretty cool. But Moklodon is not a ceratopsian, and at least people thought. It's part of a group called Raptidons. Raptidons were so far all thought to be quote-unquote iguanodontians, so in the ornithopod part of the ornithischian tree, and were therefore usually reconstructed as being kind of like small iguanodons without the some spike and with shorter faces. Now this new paper proposes that quite a few of these little guys that were also proposed to be island dwarfs, some of them, are actually ceratopsians. So raptidons probably have to be split in a new family that is a unique group of ceratopsians and the more classic iguanodontians. Fortunately, the paper does not try to really delve into that too much, but it appears very likely, at least for the moment, that we have actually a unique group of ceratopsians from Europe that, is rather small, very, very weirdly derived in their own way, and potentially had no frill. We have no evidence of a frill whatsoever from these guys. Like we also don't have really the back of the skull, but also there is other raptidons where we do have at least parts of it.
There are backs of skulls from quote-unquote Zalmoxes from the same bone bed.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Yeah, the problem is that this is bone bed material oftentimes, and it is possible that it is possible that these guys looked like we imagined them so far, being potentially even bipedal and stuff in some cases, and so on. That they just are weird ceratopsians in that sense. But it's also possible that we mixed up material of iguanodontians with ceratopsians because these things are mostly disarticulated, and it makes it really hard to figure out what is what if you have it all mushed together, and that there might have been some convergencies in these two groups too, with like how the teeth look, how the jaws sometimes look, stuff like that. So that makes it not more easy.
It doesn't help that I still wish that they could have done a little bit more with that bone bed material.
Yeah. It's
so we don't have as good of an understanding.
Yeah, we should maybe mention that many of us who follow this work closely are very happy that stuff is published. On the other side, though, we think that there should have been more studies in this field before this comes out, like sorting out, for example, Raptidon itself, the holotype, and what is related to that, and all this bone bed material of Zalmoxes and stuff.
Which
before you bring the banger with oh, look at these things that are actually that these things are actually ceratopsians. So yeah, it's not a bad paper per se, but it's also, it makes you longing for more, and therefore also creates a kind of a disappointment.
Especially with how the authors are treating it outside of the literature. Specifically one of them. I don't want to get
Yeah,
too,
yeah, no, there's like a little bit of oversimplifications that have been thrown around, and
mean,
this is hard to
I would say that
explain.
some of it
Honestly,
isn't even oversimplification. I'm gonna be honest.
it's oversimplification and like misinformation, low key information, misinformation that has been thrown around. For example, like another ceratopsian that is being discussed here is Zelmoxis. And one species of Zelmoxis here is given a new name, a new genus name, and is also proposed to be one of these ceratopsians. The other species, though, is phylogenetically jumping around a little bit, which could maybe be resolved if people looked at the material again.
It should not be realistically jumping around as much as it should.
Yeah, hard to say. Hard to say. But I mean, phylogenies are always hypotheses and stuff. It's
I mean, jumping.
yeah, like
between Ornithischia
there
and
is
Ceratopsia is a bit.
it's weird. I mean, yeah. So, what you can take away from this when it comes to reconstructing this guy? The head, the front of the head at least, we are pretty certain what we're looking at here. The rest is razor open. You can go with the reconstruction basically that Matt Dempsey put together, something in the direction, but you can also go with something different.
It is good to specify that this guy isn't super basal. It is an actual Neoceratopsian in both phylogenies.
But we should also mention that Neoceratopsians is a very wide clade, very big one.
Yeah.
Like Neoceratopsians, usually people think of big Triceratops and stuff like that. Yes, it is also in here, but also Protoceratops and Aquilops, also part of this group.
Which also leads into the whole frill thing, because even the most basal members have it.
Even the most basal members have something small. So, yeah, it is weird.
It's just a good thing to say that this guy isn't like Psittacosaurus.
This guy wouldn't be as basal as Psittacosaurus. What I feel like might turn out in the future, with more people looking at the material and with more material coming out, especially one certain nearly complete juvenile that is apparently like waiting to be described finally, that for one, like, yes, this will be established as its own clade, all of these guys, which probably will need a name in the near future, but more importantly that these guys might be either at the very base of Neoceratopsians and like early splitting from them, or that they are just outside and some features are just convergently evolved.
I wouldn't be surprised if this guy ends up close to like Udano or something. I've been saying that since the start, like ever since I got published.
Yeah, I mean, there's also still the possibility that these actually are not ceratopsians, but still ornithopods. That is also still possible. Yeah. Like this is not the be all end all. This study, that is still a thing that could happen, especially if the juvenile is finally published and we get a little bit more look into like the postcranial parts and so on. Either way, it is weird. Both hypotheses speak for really bizarre animals, no matter where they land.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, Dinoboy also posted here. This is a lower jaw of Moglodon. Like when I saw the beak of Ashkeceratops, like the latest papers and how it slots into the lower jaw, I was thinking maybe this would have a very deep lower jaw, but now that we know that it's the same, shows that it's a robust thing, but it's not as deep as one would think. God damn, there's a lot of talking today. But I also feel like these are things that have to be not qualified, clarified. Language is hard. A genius, as mentioned, both possible. They could be quadrupedal or bipedal. We don't know at the moment. Mostly because the other we don't know like how many other raptodontids are part of this. Like Raptodon itself, or rather referred material of Raptodon, looks like that is clearly Iguanodontian. With these guys here, the potential ceratopsians and stuff that is close to them, we are not sure. There's also like a bunch of fragmentary taxa in the moment that is mostly named based on like isolated skull material, where people are questioning the validity and stuff, and some of them could be also part of this new clade, could be invalid or stuff. It's a mess. It's a mess, and I wish for a long time now that there was a big European raptodontid research project that like looks at all this material again and describes finally some of these specimens in detail. Like there's beautifully preserved near complete specimens of quote-unquote Raptodon from France that are not properly described. So,
yeah.
Yippee. Too late, Sci-Fi Puck. Way too late. Anyway, Ashkeceratops, let us start with this funky feller. In 1, 2, 3, go.
Something I didn't realize until now is how weird the skull looks in front view.
Yep.
It's almost got some stereoscopy going on, yeah. Those are some really big orbits too.
Yep.
Yeah. In Twitch chat, according to Sushi Cat, the like pronunciation of the animal, apparently, in Hungarian, the J is pronounced like a Y, and it's named after the place where it was found, so it probably is pronounced that way.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Ceratops.
Yeah, I heard that before, Sushi Cat, and I'm never quite sure how exactly. I usually go with the Ashkeceratops because then everybody knows what I mean.
Oikaceratops.
Can only imagine how long the keratin sheath on the beak was.
Oh yeah, we should mention they looked again at the rostrum actually in the new paper. Also, once again confirming that yeah, the bone fusion is so strong that you can't see if there was earlier in ontogeny a rostral bone or not.
What do you mean by rostral bone?
The rostral bone is a unique bone to ceratopsians. It sits in front of the premaxillary.
Okay, so they convergently evolved the basal actinopterygia condition. Funny.
That I don't know what you mean by that, but
Paleonisciforms also have a rostral bone. That's just that.
Okay.
Some groups lost it, so you get like rostropremaxillaries and stuff. It's weird.
20 minutes. How much time do we have?
60 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say we just started. If I remember right, the main formation where this guy is known for is like more marshy. Could be misremembering.
Yeah. Oh, something that you also haven't mentioned yet, that if these guys really turn out to be ceratopsians, that opens up so much interesting potential for integument. There's many, many mysteries around these guys. Let's just say that. Even with this new paper. It only opens more questions, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah. What they should have done for the art, even though Dempsey's thing is really good, they should have gotten the person who did the art for the 2024 paper and just had its head peeking out slightly further.
Yeah. Honestly. That would have been the sensible thing, but not the thing that nature wants.
Mm. Nature is both a very prestigious journal to publish in, and also a way to make your paper very unsatisfying at the same time.
Yeah. Nature paper always looks nice in your portfolio, but
you
it
like
does not tell you much about the quality of the work, really.
Yeah, you are forced to sort of shoot yourself in the foot with the quality.
Forced to shoot
I swear if this wasn't
that and like there's other stuff. Like there has been studies on the quality of nature papers in general that like showed in hindsight that quite a few of these are very lackluster. Despite all the triple peer review and blah 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 blah. I'm not saying that's the case here, but nature paper is not the seal of quality people would like it to be.
Because they force you to have such a short paper.
Yeah. And you can also barely because of how nature handles things, you can also not go ahead and like publish other parts of your work beforehand elsewhere, because that means you're basically taking away the part of the punchline. And nature wants this exclusivity to it all.
Let's just hope that the authors or another author is able to work on like a part 2 to this.
That would be very nice. Or, as I said, like I really want a big European Raptodonted group, research group. That would be so good.
Yeah, like if they were financially stable, like reasonable to do at this point.
Yeah, but that's a
Monogram.
nice thing where if you like use have a European research group, you can like have like funding coming from all sorts of different directions, all sorts of houses, funds. The European Union you can apply for funding and stuff. There are quite a few possibilities. And I think the main reason why it hasn't happened yet is that certain people in the field just can't work together,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
Mostly for the stupidest reason. At some point we have to talk about the Gollum syndrome here on stream. 10 minutes. Just going with a portrait for now.
Yeah, same here. It's the safest option.
Yeah. Oh, I think I can make the back of the skull a bit wider.
I've made this thing look utterly psychotic.
Oh, it's a very, very parroty. And we all know parrots are, at least sometimes, quite
They
psycho.
don't like me.
Parrots honestly sometimes deserves the name terror birds more than Forest Rackets.
They really do. Especially African greys. I am biased. I had one look at me dead in the eye, say, "Don't bite," and then bit me really hard. And I wasn't even doing anything, I was just working.
And it's such a parrot thing to do. Parrots in many ways are too human-like. They do many things just for shits and giggles and to see what happens. Eight minutes. I feel like I want to do something funny with the integument. But I'm also being assaulted by a cat on the side.
Kitty.
Yeah, Saggy. Ooh. Look at me. I'm so tiny and starved. Not at all fat.
I was gonna say, I assume that he has been fed recently.
Oh no, he is our very own Garfield. He has this tendency. He gets the same amount of food as Findus, but he has a tendency to store it better.
Hide it.
I wouldn't call it hide it what he does, because it's very plainly to see for everyone where it is.
Is he just is he just rotund?
Especially during winter, yes. He gains quite a bit of weight during winter, without any change to the menu. It's just his body is like, guess it's cold outside. Have to lay on some more fat, you know.
Yeah. I'm obviously not going to do it myself, but I'm still curious to see where this guy places if you were to place it in like the big 2024 phylogeny.
Oh, actually, let's try something on a separate layer. Something I have done before with Raptidontids. I'd like to do again.
Would this guy have the eyebrows?
Potentially.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Has such pig energy.
Exactly.
The brush pig thing, speaking of pigs, was wild. Wow, that is literally just this guy.
Yep.
I mean, people who know a lot about like anatomy and natural history usually predict a decent amount. Like
Yeah, it's
Cosman with,
interesting how, in hindsight, how sometimes artists are more correct than scientists.
I mean,
And then
yeah,
sometimes
'cause
we're
you
getting it
actually need to
horribly
look at,
wrong.
like living animals. I mean, you have probably more artists than scientists, so like statistically you are going to get more artists who actually like know what they're doing with like Spec Evo than like scientists, at least like sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, 4 minutes. Oh, you know what? We don't have the frill. Doesn't mean there was not one made with soft tissue somewhat.
This is so you're just gonna make it have a frill, but not.
I mean, maybe there was a little frill, but you couldn't see it because of all the feathers.
Something I was actually thinking about earlier today. Ceratopsids 100% would have like so many ticks behind their
Oh,
frills, right?
God, yeah. I wouldn't be even surprised if there were specialized, like birds, Opteris, or something that specifically preened ceratopsians behind their frills. Like the amount of like parasites and grime that must have like accumulated there must have been off the charts. Like we have nothing really comparable today where like could look at.
Maybe the folds of skin on rhinos, but even that wouldn't be.
Yeah, even that is like somewhat, yeah.
It's hard to get
Like
anything in there.
Indian rhinos and stuff. Yeah. I actually don't know how Indian rhinos like how they handle that. I guess they bathe a lot.
Yeah, they're in a more moist environment.
They like it moist.
Moist.
Ah, goddamn, it's sucky. They will need to get some treats after this. 1 minute.
Oh, did I put 25 on that last one instead of 26? I did. Dang it. I gotta get with it here with the date.
Happens to everyone.
Just 30 seconds. Oh, so here we go. Time to post. Show me your Oikaceratops. Okay, saving. Copy. Do. Okay, quickly looking after the cats.
It's kind of funny. Joshua is going after his cats, and I made this very cat coded.
Okay, back. Oh, another paper drop. Ooh. First porpoise fossils from the western North Atlantic. Mm-hmm.
It will be pleased.
Indeed. Oh, Squidamalis, hello there. First time chatter. And no, Cypress had just arrived. Oh boy. IKEA furniture assembly. Damn. I hope it all went well. And we just indeed did the weirdo, the new interpretation of the weirdo. And what people came up with in that regard, we shall explore now. Starting with Roadrunner from Hell. We did Ashkaceratops in a scene together with Pneumatiraptor. And they having a jolly good time by the looks of it. Also Hungarosaurus in the background. We might need to add this formation at some point to the wheel.
I mean, it's always nice to have like more swampy formations. Plus
That
there's
is
a lot of
true. It
other
is true.
interesting stuff.
It's also not too large. People like to say it's like the Hungarian. It's like Hungarian equivalent of Hatek. It's a little bit different. Also older. I think it's Santonian. I think.
Next time Mesozoic comes around.
We'll see. It's again Cretaceous, so it's like but yeah, no, funny little guy. Also with quills at the back here. Nice. Iggy with this guy here, very much the Matt Dempsey interpretation. I see. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. It's a little bit. You should like add a little bit more line work here to better differentiate like what like limb is the front and and like what is towards us, what is towards the back. And this hind limb here should be a little bit thicker, I would say. God damn it! Wait, I have to close the door. The cats are like already bugging me again.
More treats, Daddy.
They are, for some reason, they like to sniff around in one corner here. I just have some paper laying around, and I don't know what they sniff there. Okay. Then, there is Raven with the beautiful little creature. Very cool. Love the spiny tail. Yeah. No. That's a very nice interpretation. Good stuff. Rodent coming in with angry as bird, as it should. Very cool. Like the tiny frill you gave it. Has the osteology of the skull is quite a bit different from other ceratopsians, so it's hard for me to imagine like the frill really sitting there. But if it would look like this, yeah, I could see it. Like, is there also like, yes, the jugals are like getting wider, but there's not really an indication that they had like the jugal horns that you see in other ceratopsians. So it maybe was just like white cheeks. But yeah, Vexen, coloring. I see. They're calling her misplaced ambition. Got the important part. So that is, it's fine. We all have this. I think it looks good. I think you can make the rostrum a little bit more, the upper part of the beak a little bit more curved, a little bit longer. because that is like one of the most important parts of the sky. The beak is really very pronounced. But yeah. Hussein then with this view from above, very cool. Also at night. Nice, nice. To you, I would also say makes the beak a little bit more pronounced, and maybe the back of the head a little bit wider. But yeah, no, looks very fine. Liking here's the little reflections on the cheeky scales here, very cool. Then we have a screen through with a portrait of this absolute goober smiling to the sky. Excellent. Look at him. I think I wouldn't make like the mouse go so far back. Remember, at least since we have the Exoparia, that appears rather unlikely. And I would argue that it's even a little bit more further than just the Exoparia in ceratopsians, as well as in parts in general, like in terms of soft tissue. It's at least partially a bit down to like taste, but you wouldn't have soft tissue like the mouse going like that far back past the eye. That appears unlikely. Okay, a genius with this little guy just standing here with a more normal, quote unquote, or traditional raptodontid postcranial interpretation. Nice, nice. I mean, a genius, I wouldn't call these jugal horns. These are not under the jugals. That looks more like the big feature scales in iguanas. Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, it's just one line. You can, in theory, just erase it. Name was taken with the little fella, just looking with a death stare into the camera. Nice, nice. Like the counter shading and stuff. Yeah. Then Velociraptor with this little dude, appropriately large eyes. Yeah, no, that looks pretty fine, I would say, considering the stuff we have. I wouldn't make the hind limbs this cursorial, maybe. But yeah, even if they are quadrupedal, or even if they are bipedal, the limb material of raptidontids we have speak for relatively short, stout limbs. Triangle 27 with this absolutely horrifying frontal view. My God, the glowing eyes. Nice. I think I would give it a little bit more muscles, jaw muscles in the back, so that the upper part of the head doesn't look. It looks a little bit like it's wearing a helmet right now. So smoothing that out a little bit, the transition between upper and lower part would, I think, do quite a bit. No, but otherwise this looks very cool. Also, maybe the rostrum here could be slightly longer, maybe. But I digress. Cartosuchus shoving a juvenile Ashkasaurus, who showing a juvenile Oikaceratops who is boss. Nice. Let me zoom in for some more details. I see now. Is this based on a meme?
Yeah.
Feels familiar, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Funny idea.
Are animating a certain scene, and it's just that.
Damn. Vexosaurus with a full body Oikaceratops. Nice, nice. Very good. Liking this thing. Good stuff. Then here is Alex with another portrait with frill this time. Interesting. Phylogenetic placement told me big frill. It doesn't. We talked about this. Neoceratopsians is like a very wide clade. Unfortunately, they show that a little bit stupid in the paper, I feel like, where they only show like the wheelie derived ones next to this guy. Like, it could have been also just like in Aquilops if it had a frill. We don't know. I love some mammal here on top. Mammal eating parasites. Oh, I see all the ticks on the back. Oh god. Beautiful. Then we have Zeph. Shitty coloring. Inspired by you know who? Domain expansion. I actually don't know. But it looks very cool nonetheless. Then Sorops coming in very light with little Tapejara. It has a very funny little tail. Beautiful. Absolutely phenomenal. Loves the snoot fluff too. Then we have Gaps. Oh my god, I love this portrait.
It's so scrungly.
It's such a scrungler, with its little, with the little spiny scales on the back here. So good.
I've just realized that like this thing probably looks like the retro reconstruction that people would give it.
In a way,
Like-
yeah. Okay, then we have Tears Forever with a full body reconstruction this time. I love the neck folds you gave it. Very cool. Looks slightly diseased. Good stuff. Also nicely big Ramphatheca here. Good stuff. Then Weezvane. With this absolute scrungler. Very cool. Loves the cool shadows and the yellow background here. That's a nice combination. Good stuff. Also going with a bipedal version here. Nice. Dino Boy then added frill this time. Nice. Yeah. I could see it. That's good. And then Sugar Power. Oh, look at this creature. I love the blue tongue. Adds quite a bit. That's certainly an animal. Very fun. Ultra Looser with another portrait in frontal view. This gives off parrot vibes this time. Nice. Very good. Very good indeed. And then we have Ichi with actually putting some work into the plants here. Nice. Very cool. This gives me, for example, like Aquilops vibes to it, which is totally valid. Could be that they had such a small little frill up back there. So yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Then Roman with full body standing there, realizing it has mustard on its snout. Damn. Very cute. Good stuff. The feet, we should mention the feet. Ceratopsians have quite peculiar feet. They have like 3 main toes. They were probably like mostly weight bearing, and then 2 little side toes towards the outside that had no claws, but were still visible. Maybe partially like hidden behind the bigger toes, but they were still there. Something to keep in mind. Entertainment, also known as Enteriano, going in with very derived ceratopsian features, and also speculating about keratinous features overall. Very interesting. Nice one. Ooh, what is it? It's Petite coming in way too late with a baller Tapejara though. Very cool. Look at him go. Eating the moon. Is the name Gru? Maybe. Nice. Love what you did with the crest. How scrungly. I think the rostrum is a little bit too long though. I feel like I say that with nearly everyone. And we have Oikaceratops here too, approaching the camera at rapid speed. About to eat it. Again, loving the scales here on the back. Nice. Casual Soap Muncher also coming in with a little animation. Oh my god, it's prancing. Look at him. A little hopper. Very nice. And a portrait by JW. Lots of white face. Good stuff. Tiny frill. Nice, nice. Yeah, this is how I could imagine the cheeks looking based on what we have in the fossil preserved. Nice. Bonaloo with another portrait here. Very good. I love what you did with the ears here, with the filaments and slight little bit of earlobes. Similar to what you see in some chickens. Fun fact: in chickens, these earlobe-like structures, that's mostly there in the males, and they use that to actually like keep themselves from going deaf from screaming all the time. To cover their ears. I mean, these guys look like they could be very loud too. So, oh my god, tapping Snurtle with a Jan Smith reference? Yes, yes, incredible. Wait, I have to tag Tim for this. Tim.
That is going really
God
into
damn,
like,
what is
specifically-
Tim's Awesome Morrison.
He's not the Lemuria bomber anymore. Oh, he's literally just the Morrison man.
Yeah, he reverted back to his origins. Got many people posting today. Saurian coming in with an arboreal interpretation. Very interesting. Also interesting interpretation on the potential frill here and the epiparietals that could sit on there. Then Octolus going with the absolute scrungliest creature I've ever seen. My god, that's an fossorial griffin. Very cool. Then Brontosaur with Oikaceratops and something else next to it that I will not mention. After that, J. Just J? J-Rex. With couldn't finish, but it's up. Jay, I hope you take a better photo next time. It's very hard to tell what's going on, but I see that. The head is there. It looks like Oikaceratops. That's all that counts. Fixing the mouse. Nice one screen. And a certain elephant shrew is putting some postcranial material on here. Then, a hat by Aberrantologist. I think the morphology of the beak a little bit too far. When you look at the skull, that only makes up like a relatively small portion of the rostrum. This cavity. I think you made it a little bit too large. And the head would be wider towards the back. It looks a little bit too ornithopod in the moment, I think. But it's hard to describe. But otherwise, pretty nice. Love the eyes. Very goatee. Octolus putting updates on there. Cera going in with the only versions that really make sense. Nice. Showing the parts we have. Very cool. Also tons of insects there. Ah, Tim has seen it. Good. Also, Alex doing like a second version in bipedal stance. Nice. Okay. This brings us to drawing number 3 of the night, which, if I remember correctly, yes, is Hoplitomerix. Something that some people here might remember from a certain stream last year.
Oh, we're finally away from Archosaurs for a little bit.
Yeah. Based on the name, you would assume this is a deer. However, it is not, although it looks similar to a deer. Hoplitomerix is a unique island ungulate with 5 horns or ossicorns on its head, 2 behind the eyes, 1 between the eyes, and also tusks or saber teeth. Yeah, this guy is a weird one. We have bunch of different species based on sometimes relatively good, sometimes rather bad material. They also differed in proportions, apparently quite a bit, as we noticed in our stream here. Oh god, what's it called again?
Microtofauna.
The microtofauna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm actually trying to find your piece of it because that has the size chart with all the proportions of the different species.
yeah, no wait, I can find this too. We unfortunately, it's one of these cases where the material is out there, but it's not really well described, especially not well figured. Fortunately, which makes this hard. There is.
I got it. I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna post the size chart because that gives you proportions of all of them. Plus,
Yeah.
if you want to include anything with it. And the disputed.
Where's the,
Tortoise
we
hasn't
we
been
used for the
described.
skull here really nice skeletal not skeletal, really nice drawing. It's like frontal view but also side view, and the frontal view is in one of these images that Roadrunner posted, but I don't see the side view again.
That's 100% in a paper.
Yeah. Oh, also there is actually a 3D scan of a skull, I see.
Oh, if there's a 3D scan, it's just not worth it then to look for it.
Yeah, but it's not the best 3D scan, and it doesn't have the lower jaw.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, the lower jaw is just sort of like exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah, but it gives you an idea for like how much the canines would protrude, for example.
True. Let me quickly see if I can quickly.
The canines
find
are
it.
razor large, but they're not as big as like in some modern day fanged deer.
Oh, where the heck is it? It's been so long since like when I was doing that size chart.
I found my copy of it again. I'm just zooming in, taking a screenshot of the skull. Yeah, that is also something, Enteriano. The rotation on the skull isn't properly set. So if you want to do like a funky perspective or anything, basically best you can do is take a screenshot and then rotate it.
Oh, I found it. I found it. The side, like since the side view's on the size chart, I can just post this. There you go. What a horrible beast.
Yeah. I mean, that was already in the Roadrunner from Hell post set. But yeah, as said, unfortunately, so when it comes to postcranial material, it exists, but it's not really properly described or figured.
Yeah.
When it comes to what this guy lived with, well, you can look at this, the size charts there. Gargano Island had a lot of little weirdos, and some rather large weirdos, like an early species of giant tortoises from here, a Solitudo species, wasn't named that yet when we made this, but we knew that it was coming. There's large owls, and eagles. I think it's a hawk. There is a crocodilus remains, medium-sized crocodile, some description, not that well preserved, but it's there. A bunch of large rodents, and interestingly, a giant goose and a hedgehog relative, Dinogalerix, the largest carnivore of this ecosystem.
The largest fully terrestrial one.
It's the largest fully terrestrial one. Yeah, this is true. Like around the size of like small to medium-sized dog or large
I
cat.
was gonna say, that's a beagle.
Yeah, a beagle. Beagle might be good comparison. Also similarly built to a beagle, relatively short legs. Very weird skull, especially the largest one, Dinogalerix Königswaldi, has a bizarre head, very large teeth. Certainly does not look like a hedgehog at all.
I just noticed through that front view how weird the canines are shaped.
Yeah, also I think that's not that much different from modern day Munchaks and stuff.
Yeah, though these guys probably can rotate their.
That is, yeah. I don't think there's any articulation.
So would they have had a wet nose like larger deer, or something more like a dip?
Probably. Yeah.
I would recommend looking more at muntjacs than deer for soft tissue.
Yeah, I was looking at
Because-
dicks too, and they have kind of like a weird nose thing going on, but they also have something different going on with the skull too that correlates with that.
Yeah, it's close to muntjacs.
Yeah. Let me actually get. Let's see if I can quickly find this. Yes. I quite like this drawing here. Facial muscles of deer. Apparently, ungulates are razor conservative when it comes to this. So you, of course, it would be differently proportioned, but you can expect a very similar organization of muscles going on here.
I assume there would be a small preorbital gland, like you can sort of see the
Maybe.
muscle for it. Like I found an image of deers, so I assume it might be something similar to that. If you want to show
Could be,
it, but
yeah.
like you can on this. You'd be able to see it if it's close as well. Like I don't think it would be like muntjac or yeah, I don't think it would be as extreme as muntjacs.
Stembird. The Discord mods are not my pets. And besides that, we have pets here in the family, yes, but I don't have like a pet on my own. We have two cats, Tsagi and Findus. Okay. I think we have enough for hot bleeding.
It might not. It might not have the fuss needed actually.
Yeah, it looks like razor smooth.
Yeah, the image from the paper makes it like.
But then again,
maybe.
Who can tell? Okay. Let's grab the pencils.
Oh wait, hold on. You can see it actually a little bit better in this view, like this being an actual.
Oh. Yeah.
Let's see what's going on.
I think the cast might be a little bit too smooth to tell. Yeah. Also note that in frontal views, you see that the orbits are quite a bit protruding, which looks similar to what you see in sheep. So something to maybe.
You know what? I do agree with Petite that there's not really a hole in the skull.
Yeah, I
where,
also agree with Petite what she wrote on YouTube.
Yeah,
I could
I
never
wrote Petite
domesticate Petite. She is too feral for that. All right, then, Emma. Yeah, Dukers are extreme here, but they are
Oh yeah, those guys don't
weird
have,
weird in many ways.
I think
Dukers are
they
also,
might
I think,
be-
relatively good reference when it comes to the soft tissue of these guys. But yeah, let us start with Hoplita Merix, a weird island inhabiting guy from Italy. From the Miocene, interestingly, too. 1, 2, 3, go. Should mention, this is not your typical Pleistocene island fauna.
It's like one of 2 non-Pleistocene faunas on an island. I can only think of like, actually, I mean, there's a difference between endemic island faunas and something that's like just happens to be on an island.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hesitantly retract that because you have stuff like Samos that might have been an island during certain periods of time.
Yeah, but I don't think there's much endemism going on.
There's some antelope and a few other things that are only known from there.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know if that's just because we haven't found them elsewhere yet.
Yeah.
There's so much overlap with other faunas that I assume that there was Samos was, if it was an island, it was at least rather close to other islands or the mainland.
Yeah, then you also have what's that locality?
And Traiano, please never domesticate yourself.
Gradiška, in Bosnia, which also was on an island, but had like relatively normal fauna.
Yeah. I mean, then there's also like Anatolia during the Eocene.
Yeah, Anatolia is like the only other more like weird island fauna from the Cenozoic.
Yeah, and unfortunately not that well known yet. There's
and all but one thing from there are super scrappy.
Yeah.
The time to lock in.
Canine's a little bit too far forward.
Probably gonna draw the horns last. I'm pretty sure that these guys would have would be like horn core stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like would have like sheaths. I assume looking at them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why else they would have like the lateral ridges. I do feel bad that we're going from Archosaurs straight to mammals.
Yeah.
I kind of like the whiplash, actually.
That's exactly how I was gonna describe it, like as whiplash.
Oh, I should probably give them ears.
Eerie.
A weirdly consistent issue of yours.
Yeah. Oh, I just came across like another species of muntjac flaring its scent glands, but I have never seen this one doing it, and looks even weirder than the one I already know.
Maybe let's get weird.
Because it's more fleshy looking.
Oh yeah, some of them look. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it looks so weird.
Scent glands are funny.
Yeah, something good to note actually. He needs to be silenced. Posting it in other talk text actually reminds me. The like the one, or at least like the one non-pig, like Artiodactyl or that has like non-retractable fangs today has like a sort of more downwards faced, or downwards turned lip at the section where the canine is.
Hmm.
So that would probably be a thing here.
Oh, I'm very curious how people will react to the Jadocta formation composition.
Yeah. I like it.
What would I say?
There's
People
less
can already
room.
see it in the channel, actually.
Yeah,
But
now that
everyone is
has
on the server.
access. Yeah. Yeah, literally the only thing I could say about it is that I wish there was more room for like burrows. But that's really about it.
You can't have it all.
Also, that the composition limits what lizards you can have. Which again, you can't have it all.
Yeah. Playing a little bit with integument here on the neck, actually.
How much time do we have?
10 minutes, 50 seconds.
Sounds good.
Cypressure, yes. According to Wikipedia, recent research puts it closer to bovids than deer. That is true. Although I think that is
Yeah, which is
still not
why-
like 100% certain. But also like sometimes the shape is a better indicator for like how to reconstruct something than its phylogeny.
Yeah. Though,
Look at musk oxen as an example.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
why I was bringing up that muntjac is a good reference for like nose soft tissue, for example.
Yeah.
So I'm not happy with how mine's nose looks.
I am surprisingly happy with mine so far, considering how little I do stuff like this.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't do deer and deer-like stuff that often.
We should change that.
As there is Dynamo just talking out of you.
I mean, we had new
Your
material,
Dynamo is showing.
we had new material from like a deer published super late last year, super early this year.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
actually talked
there's
about it
there's
last
stuff.
night.
There's stuff.
It's like actually pretty nice skull material too. Most of the cranium, not just the antlers.
That is always nice.
Speaking of that, I seriously wonder how people describing deer species, like in the fossil record,
How they
account
cope?
for the growth being different between years.
Yeah. I guess they look at growth patterns. They're similar to like ammonite sutures or something. I don't know.
I don't even know if that's possible. Dynamo, help us. I know you're listening. Oh, I like your reconstruction a lot.
I'm now that I zoomed out a little bit, I'm not 100% certain anymore. But
happens. I think I made the face too long. Common trend tonight. Oh yeah, quick advice for people, since I know a lot of people who are currently here don't draw mammals all that often. Mammal necks are thinner than you think they will be.
Unless you give it a lot of floof.
Yeah. Guess yeah, the muscle, the non-fur stuff is a lot thinner than you'll think it'll be. How much time?
4 minutes.
How many? 4?
4, yeah.
You cut out for a second, so I wanted to make sure. Oh, hey, Nath.
What's up? Three minutes, 50 seconds.
I'm finally adding the horns.
Damn, you're living like that? That didn't make sense, but sounded funny in my head.
Imagine if it had just giant scent glands on both sides of the big horn.
God. One minute, 50 seconds. Okay, maybe I can put a little bit more rendering into the limbs. Twenty seconds. And it's time. Push, push, push. Slightly more centered. There we go. Let's save this.
Guy looks so weird.
Oh, Pletomerics. Doop 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 doop. Okay. Let's increase chat size. And have a look what people post. Starting with Susain, who focused too much on the head. That's totally fine. I would have actually recommended you to focus a little bit more on the head. Because he gave it a little bit soft tissue that looks more like a camel. I would say with quite pronounced lips that like go beyond the nostrils here, beyond the rhinarium. The rhinarium is like the dark and wet part of the nose that many animals have. You see something similar to this in camels, but usually not in stuff like deer or bovines. So just above that, here's a muntjak. Nicely shows a nose that is probably more likely in its base components than what you have here. But no, otherwise nicely colored and stuff. Good stuff. The rodent going in with a very very expressionistic take here. Very liking this. Nice glow on the animal and stuff, and those cool shadows. That works really nice. Also with a little goat beard. That's a fun touch. Yeah. Very nice. Then tapping Snurtle with Hoplitemerix in the morning here. Also in the morning. At least I interpret both in the morning here, but as not much more than a silhouette. Very cool. It shows nicely how compact the animal probably was. We don't know for sure because, well, not very well described. Then,
Also,
ooh.
between species.
Yeah, there's there's quite a few species ranging in size and proportions. We have this funny portrait by Raven. Very cool. What a freak. It is so weird, like because of the horns being right in front of the ears, it looks a little bit like leaves, like the central axis of a leaf. This is a fun little thing. Then we have Roadrunner from Hell trying some medieval heraldry in terms of style here. Interesting. It's not really reminding me of medieval necessarily. Although, yeah, it looks a little bit like what the Vikings did. A little bit. In terms of style. Very fun. And, Vex with one specimen here stretching. Male displaying. Very cool. I think you want to like add a little bit more frame on top here. So it's a horrible tangent to have like the nose and like directly at the edge of the frame. That's why, for example, I moved my animal here around a little bit because like it was a little bit too close to the edge. But no, that looks pretty good. We can't really comment much on the proportions because once again we are missing data here. Oh, that looks nice. Then EG coming in with Hoplitemerix looking at Dinogalerix that is hissing out of its burrow by the looks of it. Very cool. Loving that a lot. Very, very deer-like in its interpretation, but yeah, that's certainly likely. Good stuff. Antariano with a little black and white doodle here. Nice. Really enjoy drawing deer and bovine. Like, I like drawing like bovine or deer legs much more than horses, for example. Horses are just the worst. God damn. I think the eye could be a little bit, tiny bit further back, but no, otherwise it looks pretty good. Yeah. And maybe the canine's a little bit longer. Next screen the goo with this guy here looking behind a green mossy hill or like a bush. I'm not quite sure. Hating this thing? How dare you? How dare hating on my Chatsan, who I love dearly. I think the central horn is a little bit too far forward. When you look at the skull, the thing is just in front of the eyes, basically. And The post-orbital horns are right behind it. It's just that one is in the middle and the other two pairs are to the side. So the arrangement doesn't quite work, but otherwise looks very cool. That works better here with Agenius. Nice, nice. Oh, I love the snoot you gave it. Very cool. A little bit of pig in there too. This is very fun. The perspective on the hoofs is maybe a little bit off here, but otherwise nice indeed. Oh, and we have a baby with little baby Hoplitomeryx. Just so scrungly. Excellent. Very nice. Tears Forever with this creature. Very cool. I love the spotted backside here. Because of the colors, it looks like something that would live in the snow, but yeah. Be assured, it would be indeed very Mediterranean actually back then. Looks very nice. Then the most demonic Hoplitomeryx I have ever seen. Thank you, Bonaloo. You put some more goat vibes into this, I see. Which would make sense also when you talk about like bovine stuff. What doesn't work that well is like, again, like the upper lip looks a little bit too much like what you see in camels, like being relatively mobile and elongated. Would probably not be the case. I'm not sure how that looks in goats when they like move their jaws like this, but I would take some reference from that if you want to keep the ovibovine phylogeny in mind. Dino Boy with a little portrait here. Nice. Also with a sand glands. I would make the eyes a little bit larger. Look a little bit dinky right now. But no, otherwise pretty good. Also nice big schnoz. Good stuff. Ooh, Saurops doing a little bit something with fauna here in general, with a crocodilus snapping after our unsuspecting Hoplitomeryx, who's doing a vertical jump. Nice. Very cool. And we have another frontal view by Velociraptor. What an absolutely demonic creature. Very nice. Good stuff. The side horns here are maybe a little bit low, I would say. They are still above the eyes. So not quite like next to them. But yeah. And I think the head could be a little bit deeper, or a little bit slimmer in front of you. Dragon Girl 27 with this funky colored creature, loving that color scheme. Very cool. Gives a little bit of bongo vibes, a little bit of Carpi maybe even. Nicely done indeed. Then Im Cypress going with a mountain goat vibe a little bit here. Very nice. Loves the landscape. Very, very Mediterranean. And also playing a little bit with the horn sheets and stuff. That could make them quite a bit longer. Yeah, nice. Then Zeph, which is I realized just now is Sleepy T-Rex. You bastard. Very, very cool here with the sun coming up behind the mountains. Bigger schnoz than I anticipated. I'm not quite sure about that interpretation. Like that looks a little bit Saiga-like even what you did there. And like in comparison with like modern day ungulates, like goats and deer and stuff, munchaks and so on, are probably a little bit better reference. Looks a little bit droopy right now. Then Captain Trollu, a sacrifice to the geese. Yes, very good. I approve. Gargano but Untitled Goose Game would be incredible. Imagine the terror you could instill in everything this fauna includes. Then, Gaps going in with some Lionel cut-like thing here. Very cool. Nice. I love this very minimalistic approach. Excellent, excellent work. I have to would try this again at some point too. It's been years since I did that. V-Swain with should not have committed to that. I think you did pretty good. I love the view with like a night image with a flashlight here, illuminating our little guy. Looks like could be the smallest species we have with its proportions. Very cute. Then Iggy with several specimens here between some bushes. Noise. I think the horns look pretty good. The snoot, I can see you are more used to reptiles. I feel like the snoot looks a little reptilian, maybe slightly. Like the nose would probably jut forward a little bit more and stuff. The jawline would be probably a little bit more roundish. Not as angular, but no, loving the vibes. Another frontal facing a demonic portrait, but a little bit more cuter. Is a dumb thing? Yes, it is absolutely a dumb thing that I very much hope we get more on in the near future. Love the portrait though. The red certainly helps a lot. You could actually do something funny here. Let me completely tangent, but let me grab this image. You can something interesting stylistically when you invert this and then come on, bloop. There we go. Make this in intense dark green. Do you see what a cool contrast that it creates? Because it's a complementary contrast, it makes both colors more pop. They both complement each other, as I say. But especially the red now. But yeah, it's of course not naturalistic, but the red was also not naturalistic to begin with. But sometimes funny little things you can experiment with. Back here. Okay. Chuka Power with this little goober. He looks like he was beaten and now is very sad. Oh no, I want to cuddle him, but not too closely. These fangs are large. The fangs are maybe a little bit too large, honestly. When you look at the skull in front view, but also side view, with closed mouths, they don't protrude much like beyond the margin of the lower jaw. So a little bit too much munchak maybe in this one. Then Ultra Loser. Ooh, that looks slick. I think the head might be slightly too large, maybe? Hard to say though. A little bit smaller horns here. I think you forgot the smaller side horns here behind the eyes.
They're there. They just blend into the ears a bit.
Oh, I see them when I'm zooming in. Yeah, they might need a little bit more shading maybe to be more visible. But yeah, very cool atmosphere. JW coming in with another portrait here. Very fun. You know what? For some reason, it gives me slight Mustulid vibes. I don't know why. But it's like, or something else. But I'm not thinking of deer or bovine for some reason. Maybe it's the neck? Oh, it's hard to say.
Horrible beast.
Horrible beast indeed. What a goober. And we have Saurian. This is not Pentaceratops. How dare you? That's Hoplitomeryx. Clearly. It's a very round boy. In this case, adding a little bit more floof. I think you made the head a little bit too wide, but otherwise, I mean, it fits the style. Looks very fun. Casual Soap Muncher with another little animation here of an crocodilus coming up to grab our unsuspecting Hoplitomeryx. Good. And then Octolus with Hoplitomeryx just standing there, menacingly with frontal-facing eyes. Ah! Octalas, this might be an island-dwelling bovine, but it's still not Myotragus. Eyes are a little bit too much frontal-facing. You nailed the medieval goat face, though. I have to say that. Very, very cursed. Very nice. Ah, I know what you are. Well, I also know what you are. You're a baby Hoplitomeryx. Yes, it should. And, a ghostly white Hoplitomeryx by Aberrantologist. Very cool. Loving the rendering on this one. Yeah, it looks like a fantasy animal. Yeah, true. And then, wait, what? Cera? Corona pet comedy? What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the hell? Very nice. Love all the different styles. And Petite here with oh my god, what an absolute creature!
The only thing I will say,
the tufts of hair and stuff.
Those side ones are not ossicones. They would have horn sheaths. It's hard to see in the side one, but you can see.
I'm not sure if these are tufts on the horns or if it's the ears.
Seeing as that the horns don't have a horn sheath around them, I think that they're on the.
Maybe.
Like you can see it in the front view of the skull.
Yeah. Vex doing a little adjustment here. Nice. No longer the tangent. Good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, otherwise really good. Now back to ceratopsids.
Back to ceratopsid indeed. In this case, one that is a little bit less controversial. Also, so I was surprised to notice that yes, we have not done Protoceratops on stream yet. On a flocking stream.
Probably the most well-studied ceratopsid outside of like Triceratops. Like, I wouldn't even say that like Centrosaurus is this well studied, even though we have like those huge.
Yeah. Thankfully, that means there is a ton of references we can use, even 3D scans and stuff. Can probably share here.
And full ontogenetic series.
Full ontogenetic series is present. Also, I think there's still a little bit of controversy if all of these are really Protoceratops or some maybe juveniles of other things. Blah yada yada yada. I remember from an EAVP meeting some years ago that there were controversies among the Polish people. But yeah, Protoceratops, a sheep-sized ceratopsian from late Cretaceous Mongolia. Known from dozens of specimens.
I think that's even an understatement.
Yeah, I don't know how many we have, honestly.
Are we doing Andrewsy or the other one?
Up to you.
Just Protoceratops.
Yeah. Up to everyone. What they want to do with it. There's quite a bit of variation in the frills based on the age and individual. Let me see if I can find, like, is there maybe compilation?
You would hope.
Okay, there's I remember this from my childhood. There were a compilation of skulls. Here's for example an ontogenetic series. Nicely shows like how much the frill balloons in size with age. Also, the jugal horns become quite a bit larger with time. There is one Sketchfab model of a full mount provided by the NHM. If you want to have a look at, I wouldn't trust every skull and every mount necessarily. Problem is, as you can see, based on the skull material we have, they are relatively, the skull bones are rather thin, so there can be quite a bit of deformation going on. Quite a bit of deformation can happen with the frills, especially, to the point where it's a little bit hard to tell, like what is individual variation, what is just taphonomy doing its thing. There's also like differences between species and individuals in terms of how long the snout is. This specimen here, for example, that is slightly distorted, but not that much, has a very short rostrum. If it please load in, although a little bit of the rostrum is also missing here. Is it really that big? Oh my god, it's 21 MB? Who puts that on
Just
Wikipedia
barely.
Commons? But yeah, the face of these guys can be very short. In some cases, especially large specimens. Also, interestingly, these guys have, yes, nasal horns, very small ones, but it's not a single nasal horn. It's a pair of little nasal crests next to each other. At least large, potentially male specimens have that on their faces, which is really cool. Boop, 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 boop. Thinking, what else can we talk about?
Desert.
Yeah.
Dunes.
Fittingly, our next formation piece will be the natural habitat of this guy, the Jeddoctor Formation, where most specimens come from. Flaming cliffs and stuff like that, yada yada yada. It's where the first specimens were found. And yeah, it's a full-blown desert. There might have been like seasonal, ephemeral, small wetlands between dunes, between dune fields. At least the presence of at least partially semi-aquatic species points to that. But yeah, it's overall very arid and hot. So you could imagine these guys actually not being that active most of the time during the day. It's quite possible that they were mostly like dozing around, only really getting really active at dawn or dusk or in the night.
Even have made burrows.
Maybe they had burrows. We know from other ceratopsians that they probably had burrows. Here's this frontal view, although a little bit distorted because of the lens that was used. Shows nicely like the double crest, double horn on the nasals. I remember seeing something that young ones would be bipedal, says Alex. I don't remember that. We have I don't remember something like this from the top of my head, because I doubt it a little bit, because we have the inverse in Psittacosaurus, for example. The juveniles like Psittacosaurus has a very human-like ontogeny in that sense. They come out of the egg and are first like quadrupedal, and only later become bipedal. It's funny like that.
Yeah, I should be mentioned that the one that you just posted is from the other species.
Yeah, we have at least 2 species, maybe more. This cast here by Gaston Design is actually quite nice as a reference.
Nice.
Because it shows you like the same specimen from different perspectives, which is really helpful. We also have, when you look at, there are specimens that preserve the sclerotic ring, and the sclerotic ring is rather large, relatively large opening in the middle. So yeah, I could see these guys being. Ooh, thank you, Alex. On Wikipedia, 2019, having describe limb elements. Okay. Interesting. Something else we have to mention. It's probably way too much. Too much to go into. See, I want a good photo of this here. This gallery. Has like this wall with ceratopsian protoceratops skulls, showing like ontogeny but also variation.
So, what are the cheeks like on these guys?
Big. The jugals, the jugal horns or flanges are massive, which also might indicate that the jaw muscles are really large. So the lower jaw is quite deep. These guys. Also, fun fact: many of these animals probably died, being buried by sand dunes, collapsing sand dunes at the beginning of the rainy season, when water soaked the upper part of a dune, and then made it collapse. Petite posting stuff. Yes, remember the Exoparia. Beautiful. Also here, very nicely articulated specimen of a juvenile. That shows indeed how big the hind limbs are. Exoparia for the win. Yippee. Oh yeah, but Petite here also shows nicely how the jugal horns, quote unquote, would be partially connected to the rest of the face. They wouldn't stick out this much probably in the living animal. At least in Protoceratops. What else? God, that's an old mount. Not showing that. Yeah, no, I think we're good. Ooh, something fun. If you want to show X, don't look at like old mounts showing X. That's all Oviraptorosaur X. But it's possible that the eggs of ceratopsians were soft-shelled. Actually. Something to keep maybe in mind. Bloop, 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 bloop. Ricardo, yes, these guys would live very much in deserts.
In the dunes.
So they're
They were
beach-sized
duning it.
for Antarctica.
Okay, let's do this. Protoceratops. Being all proto and much ceratops. Grabbing my phone right after a beer. Here's a bomb that looks like a protoceratops. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. Protoceratops, go.
I have no idea what to do with this thing. I'm portrait time, I guess.
So would their beak only cover the very, very tip of their rostrum?
No, like it's like a good portion. Let me color it here on stream. In like this part at least would be covered in keratin, and then of course like keratin sheet on top stuff.
I see.
Honestly, also struggling with this. What to do?
You already did what you could have done with this guy earlier.
Oh, I know what I can do.
What are you gonna do to it? Oh, horrible things.
Indeed, horrible things.
While I was muted, did people shout for a certain soft tissue structure? Because I saw that Petite's thing post on it was shown.
Exoparia were
Shall
indeed
not
mentioned.
speak. Yes. I like that the species he posted definitely has like the big eyebrows looking at the anatomy. At least to me it looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Gaps is asking if oasis or algae-ridden rivers are out of the possibility.
I wouldn't have rivers,
I mean,
but
yeah, it's
oasis,
gonna.
yes, absolutely.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Oasis mentioned. Sorry.
Oh, there's a top view. Oh yeah, this guy definitely.
If in doubt, look at the scan of the Scalpel Mount.
I'm doing the other species. I'm not doing Androsai.
I mean, postcranially, it's like
Okay, yeah.
I'm having issues today. I don't know what my problem is.
Same here, at least with this guy.
Yeah, this one, I think I blew my ceratopsian wad on the other dude.
Oh my gosh, I can't do the angle that I was doing.
yeah. Once a frill comes in, ceratopsian skull geometry becomes so much more challenging.
No, it wasn't even that.
Oh.
I was messing with weird angles.
Ah.
I don't feel like rendering this. I'm gonna just do a doodle.
$11.
It's over.
I've already
so
restarted
excited.
twice. Just keep going.
I'm excited for next week when we don't need to think about dinosaurs.
Blasphemy. I mean, fair, you know.
Gosh, sketching the other species out is really weird after only really seeing the type species.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. 7 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. 5 minutes. 5 more minutes. 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Quite a predicament, this in. One minute.
I should have just done Andrewsite.
The benefit of hindsight.
Yeah, the skull anatomy of the other species is really weird comparatively. From a top view, like the frill shape is so much more exaggerated.
Okay, time to post. Show me a Protoceratops. Okay. Wait, what? Did I not save the Tapejara? Apparently.
Of course, it's the pterosaur.
No, but I posted it. I can.
I'm not even gonna say. shot. A while since we've done that.
There we go. Tabijara saved.
Just Sleepy T-Rex's second one. It's beautiful.
I'm quite happy with the yield tonight. I think. I did post that. Should post the Protoceratops as well. Okay, let's have a look what people did. Chat expansion, go. Start with the rodents. Going all out tonight, I see. Very nice. Loving the colors here. The contrast of the dark bluish stuff on the face and the reds and orange in the back. Really, really nice. So it gives me a little bit Lucas Atwell vibes, honestly. Very cool. Also, interesting speculative nostril placement. Then, Saurops. This is a bad ending. Protoceratops with the wing of, I guess, a Velociraptor between its jaws. Very cool. Nice stuff. Yeah. Good things. Oh, don't forget the little double nasal horns these guys have on the snoot. And we have Roadrunner from Hell coming on this last image in digitally. Frontal view of Protoceratops. A nice color scheme. Good stuff in a dune landscape. And we have Alex with once again a juvenile. You're on a roll with a juvie posting at the moment. Probably because yourself, just a fetus. Nice baby sitting on a branch. Very all yesterday. Very good. A genius with not so juvenile looking guy, just standing there, realizing he's part of a flocking stream. Incredible. Wait, let me actually open up here the skeletal drawing again next to this for some comparisons. I think the hands could have been slightly larger, maybe. A little bit. The lower jaw maybe a little bit more round, but yeah. Anyway, next Captain Trololo coming in with some taphonomy posting. Excellent, very good, nice. So Bagaceratops on top, very cool. Cera with retro vibes. This is indeed very retro vibes. This is like Roy Chapman Andrews times retro. Damn. Nice. Ultra Loser gotta edit the head a bit. It's not quite there yet. Like the part in front of the eyes would be probably taller. Despite the foreshortening and stuff. You choose a very challenging perspective, I have to say. And the jugal horns / flanges would be more visible from this angle as well. Yeah, but you want to edit it anyway. So yeah. Then in extremely angry looking at Protoceratops by Ravenear. What a goober! Look at him. Incredible, especially with goat eyes and the little teeth poking out there. Honestly, I don't think the teeth would be visible in life. I think they would be on the inside of the beak, like outside of sight. Usually, on the other hand, maybe this is just like specimen with fucked up teeth. So, who knows? Things happen. Then Vax with dead Protoceratops in the desert, just laying there, with some little lizards nearby. Gubiderma and Temugenia. Interesting. Okay, I would recommend you in terms of like composition, like moving the lizard here a little bit up, making the Protoceratops material a little bit more prominent, and then you can have fun stuff also going on with like lizards like in the shade of the skull or something like that. You're tired of ceratopsians? Well. Wait, also, what is that in the background? Something with the head. I will not ask first. Sleepy T-Rex. What is that on the sides here? What? With the tongue movement. What? Anyway, Protoceratops portrait and little Velociraptor next to it. At least I assume Velociraptor or something related. Actually, looking at this, might actually be an Trodontid. Yeah, no. Nice little portrait. I think the jugals could be a little bit more prominent here. Not as pointy, maybe, but yeah. Saurian with once again one of these lovely little ink wash pieces. Very cool, very lovely. Love how the quills on the tail look a little bit like flames. Then gaps. Ooh, gaps here, like working a little bit with integument and stuff. Very cool idea. Putting the stuff here on the frill. Nice. I have done this a few times, but never in this way. Very cool. And Iggy. Head was tricky. Heads in ceratopsians in general are very tricky. And Protoceratops is still on the easy side because it doesn't have huge horns you have to take into account. I recommend, if you want to get better at this, to have maybe a look at our flight school streams, still on YouTube in a special playlist where we look at proportions, and in another one at perspective. That can help. Ultra Loser then with a late but still beautiful little portrait of Hoplitemerix. I love the slightly curly wavy mane here. Very cool. Then JW trying to get in with funky stuff. Yes. yeah, it doesn't quite work. Looks a little bit too triangular. Very, very nice nonetheless, though. Oh, what a goober. Dragon Girl 27. With another bad ending for a Velociraptor here. Very cool nonetheless. I love the eyes. They look very, very bearded vulture-like on the Velociraptor. Yeah, no, very, very nice indeed. I think the forelimbs could be a little bit more muscular. But otherwise, nicely done. The second piece by Sleepy T-Rex. Well, what more can I say? This wins the stream.
It's peak.
Damn, I can hear the sound of shattering bones and shock waves going over the dunes. Incredible. Chuka Power with this beautiful ass shot. Absolutely gorgeous. Very nice. Also love that you put these like a little bit larger paddly scales here on shoulder and on the hips, similar to what we see in Psittacosaurus. Very cool. Then tapping Snurtle with Ghosts of Jedocta. Very interesting perspective and composition here. Very nice. Also, I think from this perspective, looking at the tree at least, I think you would expect to see the animals' bodies a little bit more from the side. Like just looking at the tree here. Although maybe the tree is also like leaning to the side. So what do I know? Hoplitomeryx update by Petite. What an absolute goober! My God, what did you do to its horn course? And we swing with the yellow. Yes, indeed, that is lots of yellow. Very appropriate, very nice. And all these reds too. Ooh, Petite, I love the dust in this. Very nice. Weakest one of tonight? No, I don't think so, honestly. It's very simple. Doesn't mean it's bad, though. I think besides being rather simple, it is very effective. I love that thing. Then Protoceratops munching on yet another Velociraptor wing here. I love the goofy side eye it gives. Very nice. And then Roman with a prancing little pony. No, it's just a Protoceratops going through the dunes. Love how you rendered the dunes here in the background. Very nice. I think the skull could be a little bit larger, maybe. Although that might also be a little bit the perspective. The ass is coming towards us slightly, so maybe. Bornolu. So many bangers tonight. My God. Bornolu with these two Protoceratops here hugging. Findus. Sagi. They're trying to get my attention again. Here huddling together in a burrow. Nice. I love the light coming through, opening here and stuff. Casual soap muncher, absolute incredible animation once again. What a freaky little creature. And Cherryhana, what have you done? What is that? What the fuck am I looking at? The hell? That's
It's adorable.
It's a kaiju. It gives a lot of like man in rubber suit vibes.
I do like the touch of the croc style tail, but in the shape of Protoceratopses.
So stupid. Octolus with all the boys together here. Oh, there's a Protoceratops in here too with a green hat. Nice. I think the limbs in this case actually could be a little bit slimmer. So all together, everyone posting their stuff together. Do we have a singular thing in here still? Perspective by Aberrantologist. There we go. Nice. Good stuff. Perspective on Ceratops and skulls is always hard. Yes, Tsagi in a minute here. God damn it.
What's he doing?
Oh, damn it. He's just complaining a lot. But yeah, let me do chat shrinking. Boop, boop, boop. Beautiful. And then let's have a quick last look at the taxa we covered tonight. Shall we? If my thingy loads in, of course. For people who don't know, we have in the moment over 4,000 files in this folder.
Beautiful.
Beautiful indeed. Okay, let's have a look at what we did tonight. Whoops, wrong order because I saved them wrongly. We started tonight with Tapejara, one of the coolest potato sauce there ever was, followed by Ashkaceratops that recently got a makeover in many different ways. Followed is this by Hoplitomerix, a weird 5-horned ungulate from the Miocene of Gargano, Italy. And last but not least, we had a look at Protoceratops, the early horned-faced dinosaur from late Cretaceous Mongolia. Okay, this would be everything for now. Guys, thank you all for being here, and see you potentially tomorrow when we will have no formation stream, but instead look at other stuff. Might actually do another Ashkaceratops, for example. But yeah, this would be everything for now. Guys, thank you all for being here, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.